Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show hosted by a basement dweller who grew up scrounging terrible fan subs on sketchy websites prior to the convenience of modern streaming, alongside a willfully ignorant soul whose only knowledge of anime comes from the shows forced upon him here. This show will contain spoilers, incorrect information, and copious amounts of adult language. Our hosts are not experts on any topic, and everything they say should be taken with a grain of salt. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I discuss the legacy of none other than Margaret Thatcher.
Oh god, I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Oh.
The legacy, it's a rough one.
So the legacy is, man, it's... Look, I don't advocate for cheering when people die, Rem. Just as a rule. But I've got Irish heritage, you know? Anyways, let's continue. Rem, we've got a podcast to do, comedy and goofs. Are you ready for those?
I'm hyped.
So Rem, turns out, your life is about to get very complicated.
What?
Just in general,
What the
because...
fuck does that mean?
Well, Rem, you're the one who told me. You're planning
Oh, okay,
on moving.
okay. I've been in the process of, like, working on applying and stuff, and I've been in sort of limbo for a month. But now I'm properly moving in, like, the next week, so
Yeah,
that's fine.
Incredibly short notice.
Because unfortunately, that's how it works right now, where it's like, hey, there's a decent spot. You want it? You need it. You need to get it now, or you're fucked. And God bless America.
Yeah, no, it's more than a little fucked. So with that in mind, Rem, to save you some sanity for the next couple of episodes while we're getting you moved in, I'm not going to give you any, like, super massive long series because I'm not that much of a dick. So, like, it's not going to be like another 10-episode romp into something.
I appreciate it.
So instead, we're going to keep it nice and simple, broad strokes. So I've gathered a handful of shows that we could easily cover in 3 episodes, give or take, so that you can have all the time you need to prepare for that and not be too overly stressed. But they still have enough to talk about that keeps things interesting and, like, conceptually. So speaking of conceptual things, hey Rem, how good are you at suspending your belief?
Yeah, I'm decent, I would say. I think that I'm not a curmudgeon, despite my reputation. Not a curmudgeon, always just looking for faults and inconsistencies. I'm not gonna, like, CinemaSins this bullshit, right? Like, I can buy into it. I have my limits, as I think we all do.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm like, okay, you're not even trying, or that's a piss poor attempt. But normally I'm willing to be brought in.
Okay, so theoretically, if the main, like, core concept of the show is good, you can usually get past, like, some of the real-world connotations of it and maybe be able to suspend your disbelief enough to get into the series and judge it based on the series itself rather than its kind of strange concept initially.
Oh, boy. Okay, yep.
So you're saying that's true?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Have you ever come across a situation where the show conceptually on the get-go seems a bit rough, but once you start watching, it's like, okay, I can understand why this is a rough experience, but now that I'm actually watching the show, I can actually kind of get behind it. It's just the initial trial period is a bit rough.
Yeah.
So you'd say that's also true.
Yeah, I am getting intimidated by what the fuck you're gonna throw at me.
Why would you be intimidated, Rem?
Well, you're like, right. Would you say this? And it's all setting up to, I feel like a politician, right? Or like back in debate team where they're asking questions and I'm like, I don't know where this is going, but I feel like any answer I say is the wrong one.
You feel like you're being put on the stand. You've decided to represent yourself. You're defending yourself, as it were, on the...
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to be like, well, interesting. But if we look at Exhibit A, you're going to hit me with, like, this you, and it's going to come crumbling down.
Yeah, no. I don't have anything quite like that, Rem. I just wanted to clarify that these 2 worlds are true in a lot of ways. You can have if you have a fun and interesting concept, you can suspend your disbelief enough to make a good story out of it and enjoy the time. And the opposite is true, where if this concept doesn't quite make sense to you at first, you can watch a show and be like, oh, you know what? Okay, it's a bit weird, but now that I'm watching the show, I can properly enjoy it, and I
Hey,
can...
last week I immediately bought into guinea pig evolving into cars. So,
Yeah, no. I mean,
you know,
it's pretty far-fetched, that concept, so I figured that this would be a good follow-up for that, to ask you about, the idea of suspending disbelief and being able to examine a show for what it truly is. And in Anime Realm, there are a lot of shows that start off with a concept, right? A strong concept of what the show is promising when you go in. Whether it's like, this is an isekai, but here's the twist, or here's a romance, and these are what make these two characters different, type of thing,
Yeah.
And a lot of times, unfortunately, the concept kind of gets tossed to the wayside, which is a bit unfortunate. In some cases, and in some cases, they ride the concept so hard that it gets tired and repetitive. We've experienced that multiple times over the years recording this podcast. So the question is, Rem, how does one react to an anime that, well, I'll be real with you, is confusing conceptually, and also not certain where they can go with from here? So the show we have for you today, Rem, is a mixture of, hey, they have a bold concept at the start, but also, while still doing the whole concept, they kind of forget about the concept. And I don't know how that makes any sense.
Okay, well, I'm gonna use a comparison. I don't know how you're gonna feel about it.
Okay.
But it's vaguely reminiscent of way back when we did Love is War, right?
Okay.
And initially I was like, oh, that's a fun concept. And then it tried to do the concept, and I wasn't vibing with it, but then it basically moved away from the premise of the show, and I was like, oh, now it's actually better. Where things can just be like, this is what we're doing, and then it will just decide, actually, not quite.
Yeah. I will say, with Love is War, as the show progresses, it's very good and very entertaining, and like the story elements and the biggest thing issues you had with Love is War, if I remember correctly, because it stuck with me, was you wanted like permanency in like the consequences of like their little battles and fights.
Well, yeah, and I also wanted, I really liked the premise, but it only started getting good when it basically abandoned the premise. Which, it's positive that it was on an upswing, but a little disappointing that it had to lose that concept. But yeah, I think that happens a lot when shows are like, this is what we're gonna do, and then they realize, oh, you know what actually would work better.
Mm-hmm. So, Rem, enough beating around the bush. Let's just get straight into it. So today, Rem, we're going to be talking about a show from the fall 2022 season, simply titled Fufu Ijo Koibito Miman. Any guesses on what that could translate to, Rem?
My brother Bill owns a trailer park and he loves to party.
Weirdly, I think I would watch that anime.
Everyone loves to go visit Bill at his trailer park.
He throws the best parties. But no, unfortunately you're a bit off. No, Rem, the direct translation of this title will tell you everything you need to know about this anime. Simply put, the English translation of this title is More Than a Married Couple, but Not Lovers.
What?
Oh, is that confusing to you, Rem?
Initially I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, no, I don't. I actually do not understand.
If you had to guess what that could mean, what do you think it is the show is trying to get at with that title?
Immediately, what I'm thinking is that they get married, right?
Okay.
But it's either like arranged marriage planned by family, or
Right.
I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry tax benefit nonsense. It's like external benefits rather than marrying for love.
Right. Okay.
And then they end up actually falling for each other.
Okay. So, Rem, you are about, I would say, 90% correct.
Hell yeah.
But here's the thing. Where do you think the 10% is? What do you think is that little sticking point?
Do they have like a kid together?
No.
They are,
Rem, I'll tell you this right now. I don't think you will ever guess it. That's how buck wild this concept is.
All right, here we go. They are married so that two separate nations can find peace. The two nations, of course, are between some alien race with cosmic powers and humanity, which has built mechs.
Is that just fucking Pacific Rim?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
It's not. Well, I mean, there's no romance and fucking in Pacific Rim between the monsters and the robots, but I feel like there's enough fan fiction for there to be. But no, Rem. I will say though, it's a pretty fucking alien concept. So basically, simply put, the story is about these two third-year high school students, Jiro Yakuin and Akari Watanabe, and they hate each other. Simply put.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
not a fan of each other. They just straight up do not get along. However, it is their third year, which means they have to take one of their final graduating practical exams. Because in this setting, the thing that makes the concept that they decided to go with for this show, Rem, is, hey, you know, you got to do all your school stuff normally. That makes sense. You know, you got to do your studying, you got to do your tests, you got to do all that. But everybody does get a practical exam as well, and they say it is the most important practical exam of their lives and can really change everything, and they could completely fail and have to repeat a year if they screw this up. And that practical exam, Rem, is simply titled the Marriage Practical, where students have to go through a fake marriage throughout the remainder of their third year.
Why?
And are graded on the interactions.
But why?
Rem?
It sounds like a terrible idea.
Here's the thing, Rem. I don't know. My best guess is the kind of toxic perspective of, hey, population is low, we gotta make sure these kids know how to have relationships, healthy relationships. And it's
I mean, it's basically just preparing them for Utah college life.
Oh, God. Oh, fucks outside of Utah. Sorry, did I just say fucks outside of Utah?
You fucks outside of Utah! You got no
You
idea!
fucks outside of Utah have no idea. You have
It's
no
very
idea.
much, go to college, especially if it's good old BYU, meet a good Mormon partner and say, hey, now that we've known each other for a whole month, will you marry me? And then they do it. That happens all the time. It is not.
It is constant. Fucking constant in this state. Now, everybody in the rest of the world will be like, what? That can't be real. And
Hey, I mean, there's some staunch evangelical communities. By the way, it's bad.
It's very bad. It does seem like that, but here's the thing, Rem. It's like, this is the whole show. The whole show is, as you might expect, everybody gets randomly paired into their groups, and these two people who absolutely hate each other, and it seems like it's known to the general public that they hate each other, are forced to be stuck in this marriage practical
Why
together.
would you force them? Why wouldn't you let them choose?
But then, Rem, we wouldn't have a story.
All right. Well, this is... Let's...
See what I mean when I say, hey, how good are you at suspending disbelief?
This is going to be a clusterfuck, but, you know, I am curious. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't.
It's just so weird in terms of, like, concept that, first of all, the world had to decide this was a good idea. And second of all, man, does it not like the idea of same-sex couples based on the premise.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's a given. Thanks, Japan.
Yeah, man, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, am I right? Oh, boy. So, without further ado, Rem, I think we should just go straight into it. Let's go watch 3 episodes of More Than a Married Couple, but Not Lovers.
First of all, it would have made me very horny, because I'd be 14.
I'm sorry for liking triangles.
Shaun, I do have a degree in psychology, so I can assure you that this is how the pros do it.
And we are back after watching 3 whole episodes of Fufu Ijo Koibito Miman, More Than a Married Couple, but Not Lovers. Now, Remington, be honest with me. Did this show have any legs to stand on, or was it a pointless, confusing mess from the get-go?
Shaun,
Yeah, what's up, bud?
it's been a while since an anime has confused me this much, and not for the reasons you may think.
I can't wait to hear, because I'll tell you right now, Rem, I watched it myself, and I was pretty confused too.
So we open up, right? And the first thing I notice about the show is that it is gorgeous. It is super pretty. It's got a pretty well defined style, and it's very colorful, and in kind of like an indie nostalgic kind of way.
Mhm.
They're like it's vaguely reminiscent of the bubbles up like soda pop.
Right. It's got a lot of various colors with lots of contrast points, but it's a very like light and bubbly looking show.
Yeah,
Also makes
and-
uses of a lot of like manga style filters just like in the background and corners as well.
Which I feel like it's an inherently like indie nostalgic style. It feels like it feels like someone who cares a lot but doesn't have a lot of budget, and they're making it work still
Mhm.
in this really interesting way, right? But here's the thing, Shaun.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of my feedback is genuine or how much of it is just based on just that art style.
Oh wait, so you're telling me that the art and animation style of the show is clouding your judgment?
I have some surprisingly flattering things to say about the show in places, and other times definitely not. But I don't know if those flattering things are true, or if just the way the show presents itself is making me say these things.
Ram, I've never known you to be taken by a pretty face before. Usually it takes a bit more than that. Like, I could show you something gorgeous, and then the second, like, a little bit of weird water shows up, you're like, this is fucking bullshit. I can't watch this trash. This ain't nothing to write home about.
What? Hey, thank goodness there's not a bit of weird water in this show. Otherwise, maybe it would have broken the illusion.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. I mean, there's like, in the first episode, I'm pretty sure there's like a bit of catch-up animation. That didn't like automatically set up your weird water.
No, because if anything, that just felt more indie.
I see. I see. Like water, that's mainstream, but ketchup, you know? Ketchup in the shape of a heart that says love? Ooh, spicy. And that is not the first time a pale ginger Irishman has said ketchup is spicy. So let's.
Oh fuck.
So maybe we can dissect this, right? Maybe we can break it down. Maybe we can figure out the thick of things.
So I think what my brain is telling me
Okay.
is that this is a very trashy anime.
Oh, Rem, I could have told you that from the get-go.
Well, yeah.
Rem,
but then
like-
it opens up, and it's like the cover is all nice and pretty, and it's like, oh, maybe it's not going to just be some super trashy nonsense. Clearly, it's made by people who care. But I don't think that's true. I think it's just trashy. But
What?
then I, as we will get to, have some opinions about it, but I don't think those opinions are true.
Well, Rem, I will put some things in perspective for you. The studio that made this one is a studio we've never covered before. And that's not because, like, I have anything particularly against this studio or anything like that. No, it's because it's a relatively new studio that only started existing in May of 2019. It's a studio called Studio Mother.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
And it has 3 titles to its name, and this is the 3rd one. Yeah, no, like this is the most recent one. The first one that it had was, I have no idea what that is. Looks like some weird space opera bullshit. Doesn't mean anything to me. And the other one is one that we got a lot of recommendations to view because some people think it's really good, and a bunch of people are like, "Hey, this is some premium trash, and we want to see what Remington thinks about this premium trash." So it's like it could go any way, but without a doubt, Rem, based on their lexicon, they do excel at trash.
All right, well, let's continue and get to my conflicted feelings.
All right.
So we meet our protagonist and his nerdy friend. The protagonist is Jiro. His nerdy friend does not matter. To my understanding, in the marriage practical, his nerdy friend is with a video game girl. Because haha, what a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Which also, but like, how does that work? I feel like that breaks everything, but don't worry about it.
Rem, remember when I opened this episode being like, so hey, how far can you suspend your disbelief of reality? I wasn't kidding, man. Like, you gotta be willing to do some, like, very strong suspension of disbelief.
The show is just like, we have an odd number of students, or like uneven boys and girls, so someone is getting the visual novel. That's their marriage practical.
Who better than this awkward otaku?
We really just setting them up to fail. So we meet them, right? Fortunately, I don't really... The show doesn't give a shit about the best friend, so why should I? We also...
I will say, the fun thing about my anime list at times is that people will make little separate pages for individual characters. I pulled up his page, Sadaharu Kamo, and the only thing written for him are his voice actors, and his description is Jiro's best friend.
Yeah, that's all the show cares about.
That's all the show cares about.
The show doesn't give him really anything to work with. He's not even proper comedic relief like you would think he might be, considering in the marriage practical he's with an AI girl, right? You'd think that, that's ripe for comedy. The show doesn't really use that opportunity, which is odd. We meet them. We also meet Akari, who is the popular, fashionable pink girl. And she ends up getting paired with Jiro for the marriage practical. We also meet Jiro's first love, who's Shiori. And Shiori and Jiro, they've been childhood friends, right? And both of them have crushes on each other, but it's an unspoken thing.
And it also, within the tradition of these shows, for a fact that Shiori doesn't have a chance.
Yeah. I will say, I feel, and this is one of those opinions I don't know if I believe, but I feel.
Okay.
I feel like the love triangle elements in this show are done better than most bullshit anime we've seen. Though that's also a horribly low bar. That is like, it doesn't take much to do that. Essentially, I had a moment of doubt before being like, no, it's definitely Akari. Right?
Yeah. Like a singular moment was all you needed.
That is much more than any other anime gives me in these circumstances.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, there are, like, examples to the counterpoint, but generally speaking, if a love interest happens to be a childhood best friend, unfortunately, you kind of have to discount them immediately unless evidence is strongly proven otherwise.
Yeah. So, it's a above average love triangle. Not necessarily great, however.
No.
So we meet everybody. We see that Akari and Jiro end up together. Shiori and popular Pretty Boy end up together, and of course Pretty Boy is who Akari wants. So a little bit Shakespearean, all we need is a donkey.
I mean, I feel like poor Sadaharu kind of makes up for the lack of a donkey.
Shit, you're right.
Because I mean, I tried pulling him up on, like, I guess there's a bare bones wiki. It doesn't mention who his marriage partner is, so I don't know if he ever actually has one. So I don't know. Maybe I will binge the manga for this just to find out the end point. The end point of everything aside from the main two characters, because we already know how that's gonna go. But, like,
oh, of course,
it's very much a Johnny Bravo, I'm sickened but curious type of situation.
Jesus Christ. So This first episode, it's basically Jiro being very worried about Shiori and Tenjin, who's the pretty boy. Him and Akari initially fucking shit up as a married couple, but then getting better at it, and by the end of episode 1, they start falling for each other, of course. Shiori and Jiro continue to be pretty close. And we also learned that part of the lore is that if you get a high ranking grade for the month of the marriage practical, then you could potentially switch partners with other high ranking grades for the month. Why? I don't, because they needed to add some conceit of him possibly getting with his childhood friend, I guess.
And also give them motivation to work together.
Yeah, it's a little bit...
Hey, Rem,
it's
suspend your disbelief. Suspend it. Just take it, go to a bridge, and suspend it.
Yeah. So, episode 2. I should also note that this whole, like, premise is... obviously, if it wasn't blatantly apparent already, a weeb's wet dream.
Oi, do not put me in the same camp as other people like that.
Alright, for all the horny teenage or young adult weebs out there who struggle to date the women they want to, the idea of being trapped in a house with a hot girl who has to pretend she likes you and then actually starts liking you, that's what they all want.
That doesn't paint us in a very good light, does it?
But am I wrong, though?
No, I mean, it is a very specific flavor of wish fulfillment, isn't it?
Yes, and I think it feels very specific, and yet it also feels like everything a weeb would ever want. So, episode 2, we get some... It's essentially... oh, how does he feel about Shiori? How does he feel about Akari? Etc., etc. There's just a lot of that in this one. Jiro gets sick and Shiori takes care of him, but she brings things that Akari got for her. Akari and him watch some spooky things, and then the lights turn out, and things get really, really horny. This is a wildly horny anime, like insanely so.
Wow.
Yeah, which, of course, it's trash. What else would you expect? It's gotta be horny.
Like, this is the premium trash people are looking for, is what you're saying.
Oh, yes. Let me put it this way. When it comes to weeb wish fulfillment, I think this might be kind of the cream of the crop. I feel like we might have reached weeb apex in their desires and wants.
Oh no. Oh
yeah.
This is the peak, huh? This is
for better and for worse, yes.
Ooh, that's unfortunate. Yeah. I think we could do better. I think we can do better.
Yeah, no, you'd think that, but so episode 3 finally. Episode 3, there's a lot that is happening in each episode is also the problem. It's not necessarily too much, but it is a lot. But that also, I'm like, if it's pure trash, why do they feel the need to actually have stuff happen? Like, they do try for an actual plot amidst all this.
Mm-hmm.
A somewhat convoluted and poorly explained plot in some places, but
that's still a plot.
The show is putting thought and effort into it. So I can't say that it's just trashy. I can't say that the show is devoid of any substance. But it's like parts of me are like, oh, there's some moments that I actually feel genuine sympathy with these characters. And then I'm like, is that because of the writing or is it just because of the art style? Because it could just be because of that art style once again, where I'm like, yes, indie bullshit. Time to feel feelings, right? It could just be that. I don't know.
You're getting caught up. Oh man, it's so pretty. I must have to feel something. I feel like that's a weird, interpretation of the power of visual media, weirdly. Because,
I think if I would have seen this when I was 14, First of all, it would have made me very horny because I'd be 14. But second of all, I think it might have made me cry.
Oh, no, Ram!
That's an odd little pairing there.
Yeah, that, like, man, like, crying whilst being horny, like, that's normal for me as an adult, but, like, when you're a young child, like, that's a bit different, you know? You shouldn't be having those kinds of conflicting feelings. It should be straightforward, I feel.
Oh, man. So in episode 3, the big sort of conflict, like, things are going very well between Jiro and Akari, but then Akari is like, hey, fuck me. And Jiro's like, whoa, there, whoa. And he puts the brakes on that, right? And they decide, oh, okay. Akari is basically like, well, if you won't fuck me, then I guess there's no point in this whole exercise. The nuclear option. Which the school talks about, like, hey, don't fuck each other. But then they don't give a shit. They're like, you have separate bedrooms. You think that's gonna that's gonna stop a bunch of horny teens, a bunch of horny high schoolers?
I mean,
I don't.
The system was flawed to begin with, hence why you have to suspend that fucking disbelief, my guy.
I don't know, man. I feel like the school should be investigated because I feel like the school
100%.
wants them to fuck.
Are you fucking kidding me, Rem? This school should be fucking razed to the ground. Are you kidding me?
Like, there's cameras in each unit, and I'm like, we're just watching, and it's like, yeah, no, the school's in the wrong. School, there's some shady shit going on here, all right?
Like, some rich magnate made the school and is hiding the fact that it is a horny nightmare. And it's like paying all the parents hush money to keep them quiet, and the kids just do not know better.
That's, alternate title, the Wacky Adventures of Epstein University.
Oh,
it's
God!
It's
No! Oh, God!
Hell of a creative choice.
Oh, fuck. I don't know if we can keep that. Oh, no! Holy shit! Oh, no!
After that, Akari just decides, okay, we're not going to do anything lovey-dovey then. We're not even going to pretend. And they tank their score, and the sad irony is that then Shiori and Tenjin, they get into the A rank soon after, but now Jiro and Akari are down in E. Shucks, so they can't switch like they wanted to. Jiro has a realization that Akari is a virgin, which is like this huge revelation for him, and a very like important thing, because it's like basically everybody assumes that Akari is a quote-unquote slut who's been with all the guys.
Yeah,
but actually
it's the Gyaru stereotype.
Yeah, but actually she has not been with any guys. And so she's actually very nervous about all of that, which is like a nice humanizing element. It's not an original beat by any means.
Oh no, it is.
But
like, if you have a Gyaru in a manga or anime, it's a coin flip whether or not that's the case.
Yeah.
Because like in some manga, it is 100% true and accurate, and the goal is to not belittle them for it, because obviously you shouldn't. But the other half of the coin is like, it's just like that. It's like, oh, it's everybody's perception of them. And it's like, but actually they are just a little cinnamon bun that need to be protected. Like,
yeah, but also I feel like that dichotomy is just harmful, generally speaking.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right, either you're a devilish harlot who has been with all of the gentlemen, or it's like, you are so pure, you must be protected, for you are not capable of walking this earth by yourself. Or how about they're humans?
Yeah.
And stop being so weird about it, and stop trying to find these like very broad narratives that hinge exclusively on how many people they've had sex with. It feels like that.
It's very bad, which is why the better written manga, as soon as like that trope is exhausted, they immediately focus more on developing them as characters and people, which is great.
Yeah, and I just feel like, generally speaking, like it's just too black and white, and anime has always been god awful at that whole concept of depicting sexuality and sexual purity in any decent way whatsoever. It's rough out there. Anime isn't good at depicting, like, hey, I'm just a person regardless. It very much feels the need to emphasize things one way or the other, as we've seen many, many times.
I mean, these days, better stories are being written, to be fair. But, by and large, you probably shouldn't get all of your lessons on sexuality from anime. That's probably a bad call. Take it from me. Professional weeb here. Do research other ways, guys. Trust me. Trust me on that.
Yeah. All right. But by the end, they make amends, and they're like, all right, we will try. But Akari wants more. She wants a deep emotional relationship. And so there we go. That is, generally speaking, those 3 episodes, which it was wildly trashy, and it didn't quite get to the point where it's like of Domestic Girlfriend, where it's like a guilty pleasure well done.
Right.
But the art style genuinely had me a few moments being like, I don't know. Like, it made me more sympathetic towards the characters than thinking about it I should be.
Oh yeah, no, like, buddy, in black and white on paper, this is probably not, it's probably not as credible as you're thinking you are. If anything, this is more credit to the VAs and Studio Mother specifically.
I will say, like, all right, so I think generally the voice acting seemed pretty decent. I think, obviously, I've talked about it enough. I really liked the art style.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of thing I vibe with hardcore. I think the characters are fine. Not great. They're decent tropes, but that's about it. Jiro, even then, the only character that's really an interesting character is Akari.
Right.
Jiro is pretty bland. He has a little bit of character to him, to his credit. He's a little bit more human than many bland bitch protagonists, but he's still a bland bitch protagonist. Also, Shiori, the girl next door, childhood friend, she also is bland as fuck. So really, Akari is the only interesting point in this show. But then, it gets real weird every time the show is like, hey, you want a panty shot? And I'm like, I'd rather not, thank you. And it's like, here's plenty of them. And I'm like, I feel like you're not listening.
What was that? You want another gratuitous underwear shot? Sure thing, buddy. Right, coming right up.
It's like, I feel like what I wanted to get from the first, 10 seconds of the show, when it other than, there's a little prelude, blah, blah, blah. But after that, once we get into the title sequence, we see the city and everything. That is making a lot of promises that I don't think the show as a whole can live up to.
It's writing checks it can't cash, is what you're saying.
Very much, very much.
Oh, goodness. It is very much, it is very much quite the enigma for you, and I wasn't expecting it to be quite this level of enigma for you, my guy.
I also wasn't. And once again, I'm not 100% sure why, so I can only assume that it's the art style that got me.
It's very pretty trash, and for some reason that's speaking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just pulled up a couple different manga panels, and it's like, oh yeah, this looks like every other romance I've seen for a hot minute. I mean, it's got some decent character design and, some decent paneling, but it's
you know the craziest thing? Rated 9.3 on Mal, so you know?
Oh, God. I will say, I can't actually tell you what the manga is rated, just straight up. Did you know that there were manga ratings as well?
I feel like I did, but I would have never thought of it.
Yeah, way less people use Mal for rating manga. Only 12,000 people have rated this one, and, oh, Jesus, yeah, apparently it's still ongoing, the manga, and only has, 58 chapters, which is insane. That's really quick for an anime adaptation to come out, if there's only 58 chapters. So it must be doing really well over there. But it's sitting at 7.74 on the manga side of MAL for that, with 12,000 ratings. So apparently a lot of people like it, I guess. But the anime itself is a different story, as you might imagine. So, Rem, if you had to guess, what do you think the MAL score for the anime is?
I don't know, man. It fucked me up. But it is all right. It's Weeb Wish Fulfillment done well relative to Weeb Wish Fulfillment.
Right.
That has a decent art style. I think it's gonna be like a somewhat obnoxiously high, like 7.7.
7.7. Well, Rem, with 105,000 ratings, so a decent amount of people watch this show.
Yeah.
More Than a Married Couple, but Not Lovers, is sitting nice and pretty at 7.60.
Ah, so close. All right, I was one off.
Yeah, no,
one off rather.
It is very much your interpretation. Most of the reviews for this show, Rem, are talking about how this is a trashy show, but they can't really look away. And not in the same, like, dumpster fire way that Domestic Girlfriend hits you with, but more in, like, a casual, like, oil barrel fire type of curiosity, I would say.
I will like the show. It has its charm. Once again, largely from the art style, but it has its charm. That being said, I don't think it has the true humanity combined with that trashiness that a Domestic Girlfriend had.
Right.
Which, still, it is still probably number one on the list of most surprising things Remington enjoys.
Yeah, no. Like, I don't think anybody, when they started listening to this podcast, would have predicted that Domestic Girlfriend would be a positive review from you.
I certainly didn't.
No, I mean, like...
And this, like, make no bones about it, this is not in the same category. This is not, wow, that captured a surprising level of humanity and nuance. That's not the show. That is not
No.
This show is just, oh, okay, that's trashy, but I guess it's like vaguely more watchable than most trash, but also it's still trash, so I probably don't want to watch any more of it.
But if it shows up, you're probably gonna watch it.
It's if for some reason it was just like an episode turned on my computer or whatever, right? I just have a virus that,
that plays random anime at random times.
Which is my go-to excuse anytime Shaun walks into my room and an anime is playing, and I'm like, oh no, Shaun, it's a virus!
Especially when it's one of those very sussy anime, right?
It's a virus, Shaun, you don't understand.
Are you winning, son?
Oh, God. I guess I might watch an episode through, but I don't know if I could, like, take active steps
to go in and watch
it. Yeah.
So I suppose that kind of leaves the final question pretty well answered of, did you want to watch more Than a Married Couple but Not Lovers?
If you are watching it and I happen to be over, then I'll finish whatever episode you're watching with you. But other than that, yeah, probably not.
No.
This is hardcore trash.
Oh, it's hardcore trash, and we all agree that the people in charge of this school should be in jail.
Oh, yes.
Like 1,000%. We want to make that perfectly clear. But with that in mind, I suppose that's where we call it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciated it. If you enjoy Rem being confused by pretty colors, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is still not enough for you, you can head on over to twitch.tv/animeoutofcontext, where you can watch myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games very poorly. Yep, that's where we'll be, despite all the unfortunate things going... Look, Amazon sucks. I'll say it right now. Amazon sucks. Come at me, Amazon. Actually, don't. I'm very poor. But if that is still not enough for you, you can head on over to patreon.com/animeoutofcontext, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including having the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who are we thanking this week?
As always, we would like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who are trapping us in a house with them where we cannot leave and blacks out way too much. And on that list, we have Drunk Quetzalcoatl for anime out of context mascot, says Miska Miska, earnestly expecting praise and a reward. Zombie Stomp, Xanax, Yandere Neko, wondering who has a bigger sword, Remington or Kirito, Why Shaun, Weekly Haiku about Shaun, Hate or Love, Judy or Adam Sandler, how will he choose?
I hate it here. Can I go home? I want to go home.
Walk Me Home Gently, Totally God's Angel, Titan CNH. The villain behind glasses agrees that Remington is best tsundere, and Natsugo wants all his panties. The Susanator, the penis mightier than the sword. That man is so dumb he could fall into a barrel of tits and still come out sucking his own thumb. Turban, Take Your Damn Money, Remington from Celestial Fox. Tainted Venom, Syrup the Turtle, Spicitis. So when I get cloned, I get a personality. When they clone people, the clones don't receive any, says Miska on the Eva Deep Dive. So when are we watching JoJo's Part 3 so Rem can appreciate the White Sword's cards? So, Shaun, what was in that cup of doom that was definitely not piss? Silent Secondary, show Remington Evangelion already for charity. Shoujo Addict, who doesn't need help, just more manga to read and anime to watch. Shaun put the Adam Sandler massage cylinder down. Seth Senju, Sugoi Takai, that's what she said. Salty Pretzel, Ross Palmer, Robalobdop. Rhiannon Williams, Remington loves big anime mommy milkers. Rem loves the big hole. Raw XD, that's I Love You in Dinosaur. Paco El Musico, Other McNutt wants people to know that Shaun opposes democracy. No waifu, no lifu, no one will ever write me a love song, worries Miska as she frantically searches for a rhyme for Misaka. Hey, relatable. My name's Remington, brother. I feel you.
Mine's pretty easy.
Oh yeah, Shaun, that's so easy.
There aren't any love songs I know of, but like it wouldn't be hard. It wouldn't be hard.
Nitsaira, Nick Harvey, Neon Huvo Genesis. My name is Remington. I'm always right. I'm the podcast messiah, an angel, and yes, I judge you for your tastes. My lawyer has advised me to get my finances in order. Goodbye, guys. Mikeka 7 Hierto, leave Denji and Pachita out of harm's way, Shaun. Lance 0325, Kylo, Crystal Vigu, Keegan Talbot, Cassidy, Karma Chaos, Joshua Dinosaur, Jax, Janine, Jamhands. It's Shaun, not Shaun or Shaun. It is me, Mr. Referee. If Hermione pegs Harry and Ron, who pegs Rem and Shaun? I mean, Dylan is here, y'all. What do you think we pay him for? We certainly don't pay him for editing.
Jesus.
Editing is just a hobby of his. If Haruhi was in the Evangelion universe, either all hell would break loose or Shinji wouldn't need to get into the robot. I turned 21 on April 2nd and have no clue how to celebrate. Should I go to the zoo with a few friends? Hell yeah. I spent $3,500 on a PC so I can look at femboys and play Minecraft in the prettiest way possible. I, Remington, will ruin Darling in the Franxx for Encrypted Cryptid. I, Remington Chase, would like to thank you, Shaun, for our wonderful years of anime reviews and friendship. Oh, someone's just forcing me to be earnest.
Wow, that's a first.
How wholesome.
Like, usually it's like something cursed or painful or
yeah, but
horny.
Hey, sometimes it's just wholesome.
Sometimes it's just wholesome. Well, thank you.
I don't know what to put here. Hunter Tane, Hunter Davies. Hey, don't cough in my butt. Hey, Shaun, say this. Hayden Cristani. A good anime idea part 2. Naruto Takayama is an ordinary high school boy who dreams of a future working for top-rated Japanese... And then it cuts off, so we don't get the full idea, unfortunately. Going down on Shaun's grandma. Nomeo Juliet is my favorite anime. Glenn Michael Dolan. Farmer Weeb has turned 40. What should he do for the next 10 years? Exclusively listen to this podcast. Fantide. F-Bomb. Dylan Hayden. Drink angel milk to prevent wobbly bones. Not a conspiracy. Daddy Rem, tell me a bedtime story. Once upon a time, the world wasn't. Creed 13, Country Fried Goth, Cheese Monkey, Cameron Ashworth, Rock Hard for Dude says Kronk was my sexual awakening to himbos. Brie loves cheese, Brennan's grandma gave me chlamydia, get checked Rem. Black Star, Big Blue Bear Boy, Awkward Lesbian who just needs a hug. Angle Angel, Andrew Sinclair, am I alive or am I dead? But what does it mean to live and die? Are we but capybara trapped in this big hole? Elise Howard, Alpha Angel, All Hail Lord Helix, AJ Tunnel, shh, be very, very quiet. I'm hunting MILF-Hunters.
Pardon?
They're hunting MILF-Hunters, Shaun. So you best be careful out there. AJ Honey, A Days, Aaron Hegland. I dropped off for 6 months. At least the name I left here wasn't too weird. Thanks for reading it over and over again. Calculator Boobies, and just a period, just a dot. Next we move on to our boy wizard tier, where I will be randomly matching the boy wizards for their marriage practicals.
I don't know about that, Rep.
It's probably fine.
It's probably, hey, Dylan, if you feel it's not fine, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to fix it.
So, warning, you're 799 episodes away. You get the next one in order, Vincent Calabrese. I did randomize it. It just worked out that way.
Huh.
The Fitness Grand Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as a continuing student. You are going to get matched with Crimson Reapers, just because of the scythes. The Canadian anime stoner, you are partnered with Elden Ring Samurai, takes Stormvale Castle. Let's go! A much better let's go than Rem, my dog just died. Let's go.
Yeah, much better.
The Brown Mamba is back after being abducted to Leighton for 2 years. You are partnered with Allfather awaits redemption in the eyes of the Lord, 30 weeks left. Schmeris, you get Massimo Martelli. Shaun, show Rem Niankoi, a cute slice of life with lots of cute cats. You get Beethoven 1201. Rose Scop, you are partnered with Brian Audit. Robert Atchison, you get I turn 40 in May. Any chance that you can review Healer Girl for my birthday? I wouldn't count on it, but who knows? Maybe Shaun will be generous. Rem wants Reki bedtime stories as Adam Sandler cuddles Shaun in Judy cosplay, telling him jokes all night. Jesus fucking Christ.
I crave death. I crave death. Whoever's hunting MILF-Hunters, take me, please, right now.
Oh, take you. How dirty.
No, not like that!
You get partnered with I'm Rem, say that Shaun's grandma's an angel in bed. I can't hold it back anymore. Rem, can you show Shaun Super Lovers for April Fools, which lands on Saturday? He will never forgive you for it. You get Joey, say this. Shaun and Adam Sandler are cute together when they cuddle watching Adam Sandler's reruns.
Jesus Christ. Actually, come to think of it, this is the episode that's coming out on April Fool's, isn't it?
It is. So, happy April Fools, everybody.
I mean, weirdly kind of fitting because, truly, Rem, you are the fool in this situation because you had no idea what to expect.
When you're right, you're right. Yep. Patreon readings have gotten insane, changed my mind. You are partnered with It Should Have Been the Other Nakano.
And we don't need to change your mind. We believe it.
Okay, Shaun, real quick before I forget, we're watching Clandid next week, right? You are going to get... Oh, I see. 1 second. My methods have failed me. You are going to get, for the first 100 episodes, I thought this was a Harry Potter fanfiction podcast. Monogatari ticks all the boxes of what Shaun and Rem ever said they want in an anime. This week's MILFs and Child Death. You are going to get paired with Miguel Dalion. Mike got his Overlord review. You are going to get paired with, Latino wrote How Much Does Shaun Love His Body Pillows in Swedish. Oh, okay. He loves them a lot. Hellarex, you get paired with Half a Head of Lettuce. Go ahead, call the cops. It won't silence voices. They're getting louder. Please send help. You are going to get paired with Animated Z. Carver271, you are going to get paired with Drew, the magical OnlyFans assistant. Encrypted MILF, you get paired with the Big Hole.
God damn it.
I think I got everybody, but it's a little bit fucky, so if I miss someone, special shout out to especially them. Shaun will draw something for you if I missed you.
No, do not promise that.
Anything you want.
Want, but he will. Don't promise that.
He will only use 60 seconds to draw it. So the more ambitious, the worse it's going to be.
Rev, we run an anime podcast. I'm fairly certain the majority of our audience is either perpetually horny or the exact opposite.
Next we go to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Shaun, as Joey Wheeler, will give you something trashy. And I, as Joey Wheeler, will tell you what he means by that gift.
God.
It's a close. This week's a fucked.
Yeah,
I'm moving, y'all. I can't mentally prepare. Your eyes look like guacamole. I'm hungry.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull some trashy things. Because the only thing that come up when I thought of trash was various anime, and that's just gonna get me in trouble.
Just pull up your second tab, Shaun. There's plenty there.
Fucking harsh, dude. Holy shit. I don't like how I Google trashy things and one of the first options is trashy lingerie, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't. 21 trashy things people will try to sell online like it's totally normal. Cool. This will be helpful. Sure. Why not? You know what? You're gonna get a Walmart Greta vest. Here you go.
Get to working, you scrub. Next up we got Raftalia's My Anime Waifu has returned.
Yeah, you're gonna get a... Jesus. A SWAT battering ram that was left behind after the SWAT team showed up.
You got some... Hey, look. You got some good infrastructure right there, right? If they can't even break it down, you're doing good. I like cute girls doing cute things, especially when Ray turns everyone on Earth into sentient soup.
You get a free coupon to kick a guy's ass to impress your girlfriend. Yeah, now you hire him, and he'll let you beat the shit out of him, and your girlfriend will be impressed, probably, according to this ad.
You're desperate, and I don't think this is going to be the way to fix your relationship. Hermione pegs Harry and Ron.
Let's see. I'm just confused by this list, man. I'm just confused. Alright, here you go. You know what? Here is an old tennis ball that has some kind of plant growing out of it. There you are.
What?
Fucking, no, I mean, shit, here it is.
I'm as confused as you are. Who knows what that means?
$50. Read it in a week.
It's a rare plant.
There's nothing rarer than a plant that grows from a tennis ball. Have you ever seen a plant grow from a tennis ball? I didn't fucking think so. $50 right now.
Next up we have my dear old mom.
You know what? Here's a coupon for a guy to come and make your funeral something special. You got a range of price options from normal crying all the way up to crying and actually jumping into the grave. Hey, if you want somebody special there for your funeral, there you go. Bob's your uncle.
You gotta have a good farewell, you know?
Yeah.
Last but not least, we got Bledsoe can't wait for the 10-year anniversary when Shaun takes Rem to Maury's show to see if he's Samantha's dad.
How about a dollhouse made out of a hollowed out deer?
That means you have mental problems. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want... Oh my, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad, isn't it? It's pretty fucking bad.
It's way more fucked than I thought it was going to be. If you want to reach out, whether it's for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter or send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
This is some real curse shit. Thanks, BuzzFeed. Once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister. Let's be honest, I needed to be punched in the face a couple times. And it did have an effect. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Dylan is super pretty, y'all. What do you think we pay him for it? We certainly don't pay him for editing. He is a bad boy, but he's a good boy, but he's a bad boy, but he's a good boy, but he's a horny boy, actually, right?
Hey Rem, how good are you at, fucking?
Well, Shaun, I am a harlot with a very large but I'm not good at fucking.